Hello everyone, welcome back to UGC Net English Detailed Lectures. In the previous class, we discussed the American literary movement Transcendentalism. Today we will discuss one poem written by Philip Larkin, that is, This Be the Verse. This Be the Verse, written in 1971. Philip Larkin, 1922 to 1985. It's a very simple poem. It's a lyric poem. So lyric poem, we know that, a very short poem. The title of the poem is an allusion to Robert Louis Stevenson's poem, that is, Larkin. This be the verse you grave for me. So here, Philip Larkin really writes this poem against the ideas put forward by Robert Louis Stevenson through the poem Larkin. So in the poem Larkin, Robert Louis Stevenson really thanks his parents. But here, Philip Larkin really says that parents always torture children. But the opposite idea is expressed in R.L. Stevenson's poem Larkin. So from R.L. Stevenson, Philip Larkin has taken the title, This Be the Verse. But the ideas expressed in the poems are opposite. So the themes are opposite. So Larkin himself compares his poem with W.E. Yeats' poem, Lake Isle of Innisfree. So Larkin compares his poem with William Butler Yeats' poem, Lake Isle of Innisfree. So this be the verse is only a 12-line poem for iambic tetrameter. That means 4 into 3, 12 lines. And in Larkin's poem, this be the verse has a pessimistic outlook. So pessimism is expressed here, but we can see in the poem of Robert Louis Stevenson, that is Requiem, optimistic ideas are expressed. According to the speaker, to be alive is to be miserable. So here in the poem, Larkin speaks directly to the readers. So according to him, to be alive is to be miserable. One message that can be drawn from the poem is that misery and suffering are inescapable. So human life is always to suffer. That is the idea. So suffering is inescapable. Humans have no choice but to accept suffering as a basic fact of existence. Suffering is a basic fact of one's life. The inspiration for this be the verse that comes from Larkin being in the company of his mother, Eva Emily, for several weeks. So Larkin's mother gave the inspiration for the poem. That means he was bullied by his parents, especially by his mother. So that bullying compelled him to, or we can say gave inspiration to write the poem. And two other poems Larkin wrote about his mother include Love Songs in Age and a Reference Back. A Reference Back and a Love Songs in Age are two other poems Larkin wrote about his mother, Eva Emily. So the three poems Larkin wrote getting inspiration from his mother include Love Songs in Age, Reference Back, and the third one is This Be the Verse. And our poem, This Be the Verse, begins with lines, they fucked you up, your mom and dad. They may not mean to, but they do. So the poet complains that parents always torture the children. They always compel their children to carry on what the parents have been carrying on through their lives. Which means fathers or mothers compel their children to carry on the burden of life. The poem ends with the lines, get out as early as you can and don't have any kids yourself. So Larkin's solution to escape from the compulsions of his parents or parents in general is get out as early as you can and don't have any kids yourself. So a pessimistic idea. It is not a positive solution. Now let's analyze the main ideas. The speaker, that means Philip Larkin himself, addresses the readers directly. He expresses the idea that parents put a lot of emotional weight on their children. Our parents only do this to their children because they were emotionally damaged when they themselves were kids. We pass on our miseries to our children and they pass on to their children's children and so on. Like a coastal shelf where deposits of sand and rock are laid down gradually over centuries, this misery deepens over generations. So according to Larkin, life is just carrying over the burdens that your parents pass on to you. So your parents pass their worries to you and you pass your worries to your children. This is life. So the solution, Larkin says, is escape. Never get married. Never, hope for children. So this we know there is not an optimistic idea but a pessimistic idea. Philip Larkin was never married. Remember the idea? He had so many girlfriends but he never married. So Larkin's advice is to leave home and possibly even life itself as soon as you can. And don't, of course, have children of your own. And his solution is so absurd. It is not a meaningful solution. It is not acceptable to a person who is confident. It is a coward's solution. We understand that the speaker doesn't truly know how to avoid misery. So his method to escape from misery is escape from life. So there is not a solution. We know that. So let's analyze the themes of the work. Themes include convention, parenthood, emotional baggage, hypocrisy, and mental suffering. So the themes include convention. That means the traditional carryover values that the parents pass to the children. Then parenthood, emotional baggage, hypocrisy, and mental suffering. So that's all about Philip Larkin's This Be the Verse. In the next class, we will discuss the biography of the famous Indian novelist R.K. Narayan.